So this is the village square, which is an actual square that's built around, takes up a whole side on either way. It becomes a square, and it's only the village of Wellington. So Burlington was divided into many villages before it became Burlington. Burlington was known as Port Nelson, and this was the village of Wellington for many years. So there are original buildings here, like this one here, 1869, 1864. The other ones are 1834 that are here, and they're attached to new buildings that have been built together. And it's all the vision of one man named Jack Freeman. Jack Freeman was a billionaire, and his idea was to form and put together a village like no other in Canada, in Burlington, and make it a town like a European town in London, England, or Europe. So he kept the original buildings and built around it with other buildings that he added on. So the town is fantastic. It's like a little, going back in time in history, it's like a London town. So a lot of the things that are happening here, the ghosts think they're in London or England and Europe. A lot of the rocks, a lot of the quarry walkways are all from England and from Europe and France and different parts of Europe. And it took about 5 years to build, put it all together. And this one building here in particular had a business called Johanna's Renovations or Alterations for many years. And there was a woman who lived here and died here, a widow. And for many years, as we had the business running, even in the day, the woman who was running the building, running the business, she would actually see this woman appear, all in gray hair, really old, frail, and she'd appear in a mist, and her face, she'd see her and she'd be crying. And she found out the reason why she was crying because in death, people appreciated her and recognized her. But in life, nobody visited her. She was abandoned, nobody came. She was a widow, nobody came and saw her, and she died a lonely person. So she was actually crying because now people have seen her and appreciate her. So this went on for quite a while, and I think Brian actually had pictures of the ghost cat. There would be an animal. The cat would appear on the top, had green eyes, in a mist, and would just disappear. So she's still here, as far as I know, and the second room on the top is her bedroom. And that's mainly where she appears. And I haven't heard any major stories lately, but this is a new building, a new business, and they have stories about all the things knocking off the shelves. Even though it's connected, the buildings are still connected. It's still the original foundation. The owners leave all the lights on because now when they turn them off, things start happening, and when they leave them on, and nothing happens. So it's kind of strange so far. They don't know why. They don't know the stories about the ghosts. It's also connected to the other building next door, which is also 1800s. And it's been renovated, but the original building itself is the original home, the original house is still here. As you can see, they were all connected together. And apparently there's a young boy who lives here, or is here. They say he's looking for his family. His name is Peter. He's all in blue. He's about 10 years old. In a blue school boot uniform, and he's peering around the buildings, peering around outside, peering around the windows, looking for things, and he just disappears. And many people who have been here have heard all this footsteps running up and down the stairs upstairs, and there's nobody there. So they're kind of freaked out. They don't know anything about it, and that's why the ghost is still here, attached to the building from the original 1800s. So it's kind of cool. We get all kinds of different orbs coming in here. And the other section is all blocked off on that side. But it's all been renovated. This used to be like another house, a long house. And there's been things going on in there too as well. Yeah, the whole Porch has been like, they used to have another restaurant in here, a chocolate company, and they would record things in the basement. The water would turn on. And they'd go down, see all the water turn on the faucets, nobody was there. So eventually they left. I think it was called the Chocolatieri. And they were freaked out, and they were actually losing business. So the woman still I swear I never heard stuff like that before. She'd constantly go down and turn off the water and hear footsteps, and there'd be water as a footstep of water on the floor around the basement. So it was really cool. We're going to go this way. And this is mostly where you hear children ghosts, or little children running around the town and playing and running around into the building here. This used to be known as the Rude Native Restaurant for about 10 years. And they closed up because they had water damage. And then they couldn't get back on their feet and moved to Brant Street. So it took over in about 2010, Rayhoon. It's Persian, Middle Eastern food. And it's kind of cool because when it gets colder out, people have actually seen little hands appear on the windows about 4 feet tall. And see breath in the morning before they come in and the doors are locked. Wow. Breath actually on the windows. So we have a couple of pictures of those on the website too if you check them out as well. So the main thing is people hear little kids running around. They run inside around 10 or 11 o'clock. The owner's going, hey, where's all the kids coming from? They run in the washrooms and they disappear. They go in the washrooms and nobody there. Or they run up the stairs. So it's kind of freaky. And they're giggling and laughing, and there's a little girl all dressed in red, Goldilocks hair. She runs around and disappears. She has a bicycle. So it's kind of cool around the town. This is, I said, it's like a ghost town because most of the businesses can't afford the rent here. So they're expensive, and a lot of the businesses are closed. It's only seasonal. So after the fall, most of them just don't make any money. And these all buildings are reproductions of something else. So it's all of them have a name. They all have different things they're representing, like brownstone buildings, the courthouse. All of them are built to look like original buildings from another original town. So it's kind of cool walking around here at night, and yet there's nobody here. So this is actually the center of the town, known as the Gazebo. This is the front of the building, where was the back. And this is the area where people have seen things and walking around. So as you're strolling through the town in the middle of the night, or walking out past the restaurants, you hear somebody walking behind you, you stop, it stops, you look back and there's nobody there. So a lot of people have seen different things and ghostly images, like that building's closed, that building's closed. A lot of these buildings are just up for rent or closed. So later at night it gets more activity. Also the Dickens restaurant, which is original British pub, was haunted at one point, but now it's not. Has had things going on. They used to have a ghost named George. George got drunk, and he would walk around with a top hat, and he would throw things and smash things and throw the cigarettes on the ground and on the ashtrays. I guess he went and disappeared after they had bands, because as soon as they had bands, George went and got drunk somewhere else. So that's usually what happens. And this is the courtyard, which they used to have, Burlington was known for a lot of Anglican churches. Most Anglican, they didn't like the Catholics, for some reason. So anyway, this was part of a whole church. The only thing left is the actual gateway of the church itself, the front entrance. And they took everything down, and this is known as the courtyard. So the longest restaurant that's in Burlington here is the Paradiso Italian restaurant on the left side. And that's what's going on over there. And they don't like coming out here at night because they see, they get freaked out because they see different things walking in and walking through the walls. And they go, you're not coming to a restaurant, what's the matter for you? Yeah, you got to pay your bill. And they just disappear on the wall, so that's not good at all.
Oh, wow.
That's usually what's happening over here in the courtyard.